Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm back. I hope that you all missed me. Now, listen, before we even get started today, start to share. Start to let them know that in this space is back. I've been gone for an entire month, and I hope that you've missed me because there's a whole lot of new things coming. So go ahead, spread some love, share, let someone know that we are back for a new version of In This Space. I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I am going to be your host today. And so I just want to say welcome back to all of you that have supported this for this is going on my ninth year. I've had different versions of the show. Our last season was Around the Table, and then we crept into the space. In this space, your voice belongs here. And in this space, I'm bringing my family with me. There's going to be a new background, we're working on doing things differently, but I wanted to come back as I promised at the end of July. So here I am. So as I get started this afternoon, I just want you to know that I have missed you as well. I have really missed doing the show. I have had to take care of so many things in July to make sure that we can come back and be a part of your lives. And today, I am going to have a conversation with you. You can see it's just me. I don't have a guest today, but there's a lot of surprises coming down the road. I, while I was out, I published my first magazine, We Heal. We each heal. We heal together. And so today, I am actually going to be speaking about some things from this magazine and what it is going to be. There's a section in the magazine that's called Ask the Heal Proof Doctor. That's me. I want people to be able to heal. I want people to really feel better about themselves in all aspects of their lives. And emotions are something that have taken people out of being who they're supposed to be. But what happens is we can't just stop there at that healing point. We have to move it forward. So we're moving into the wholeness segment of your life. You've got to become whole. You can heal, but you got to take the next step and become whole. So today I am going to be speaking about reinventing your emotions. We've got to reinvent our emotions. We cannot live in the same places that we have been for so long. Those places of anger, those places of being overwhelmed, those places of being frustrated, those places of being hurt, all the things that come along with unbalanced emotions. But guess what? There's a root to all of those things, and the root is rejection. Most people who are dealing with those areas of their lives is because they first have embraced and held on to that place of being rejected. We are right now on YouTube as well as we're on Facebook. So you can watch us at any of those platforms that you would like, Facebook or on YouTube. Listen, the one thing that I have learned over this last month that I have pulled away is that I am responsible for myself. Healing is your responsibility, but you don't have to walk it alone. When you confront it, God can heal it. And so we've got to put God in this healing process, this wholeness process that we're going to. We've got to understand that He is, come on, the author and the finisher of your faith. He is Alpha, He is Omega, He is the beginning and He is the end. He knows all. He understands what you're dealing with and what you're going through. So you've got to give him an opportunity and give him the chance to work within you. So as we come back and we start this segment today, Ask the Heal Proof Doctor. I am going to be speaking directly from my magazine, We Heal, and I'm going to be reading the questions that people asked me, and I have answered those questions because as we move forward, we want to see progress. Healing is progress. You've got to understand it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to suddenly wake up and say, I am healed. Okay? When it comes to your emotion, it's a process, but it has progress to that process. So let's get started this afternoon, okay? The first thing is real questions, real healing, real answers. So the first question I have that was given to me was, why do I still feel broken even after praying about my pain? Why do I still feel broken after praying about my pain? Yes, we understand that you have to pray about everything, and that is something that we should do. But listen, we've got to understand that when we pray, we have to believe what it is we pray. So my answer to that was, healing is not just a moment, it is a process. It is a process. Prayer, what it does is it opens up the door, but confrontation walks you through it. If you could confront your source of your emotional pain, if you could confront the pain that you're dealing with and what you're going through, then you will find that the process and the progress will be faster. What don't confront, you conceal. What you don't confront, you conceal. If you don't confront it, you're going to cover it up. You're going to conceal it. So that place of anger that you have been dealing with, there's just a band-aid on it, which means that you're not letting that open wound really heal because you keep changing the band-aid. Keep moving around the band-aid. Keep putting things on top of it to cover it up instead of confronting it. You will conceal it, and what you conceal cannot be healed. Many people pray for relief, but they avoid reflection. We don't want to face what has gotten us into this situation. We don't really want to face why we ended up where we are. We don't really want to face the thing that has really put us in that tailspin that we've been in, because most of the time what happens is it was given to us most of the time by people that we really love. But true healing requires you to sit with God and allow him to reveal the root, not just remove the symptoms. I told you the root is rejection. The root is rejection. I'm telling you, when you find yourself angry, when you find yourself overwhelmed, when you find yourself frustrated in all these areas, the root is rejection. We have dealt with so many things in our lives that we continually cover up. It's time to pull the sheets off and take a good look. Your emotions are not only your enemy, they are indicators pointing to what still needs attention. Healing happens when prayer meets honesty. Listen, if you are honest, if you are open with what you truly feel, what you're truly dealing with, yes, let's pray about it. But you've got to be open to receive the genuine results that are lurking to show up only if you truly, truly are honest about what it is you're dealing with. So let me be honest. This month of July that I took time away was because I felt like I was losing myself. I felt that there was so much coming at me. I'm still dealing with the situation with my throat and trying to decide, am I going to need surgery? But not only that, I realized that there were some areas in my life and some things and some people in my life that had hurt me that I have not quite dealt with, that I have covered it up, that I covered it up. And I allowed myself to become something that I said that I wouldn't do, become bitter. And I found myself becoming bitter. And then I prayed. I prayed about what it was that was going on with me, and the Holy Spirit told me, take some time in July because that is the month of perfection and the month of completion, and I'm going to do something great in you. So, this entire month of July, as I was quiet, I had to take a deep look at myself. I had to admit to myself certain things about me so that I can totally be healed. Because wouldn't I be a hypocrite if I came on and I conduct classes and be a coach talking about healing from emotional enemies, and my entire being, those same emotion and those still enemies are still taking charge and control of my life? So sometimes you have to make a decision. So hopefully I answered that question for you. So question number 2 was, how do I forgive someone who never apologized? How do I forgive someone who never apologized? First thing that you have to understand, that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. So here's my answer. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about your freedom. It's about you letting go. It's about your freedom. Holding on to offenses keep you emotionally connected to the very pain you are trying to escape. Come on. If you keep holding on to those emotions, it's going to continue to connect you to the very pain that you're trying to get over. You are not excusing what happened. You are releasing its power over your life. You're releasing the control. You're releasing the power that that thing or that person had over your life. So they may never ever apologize. They may never ever say they're sorry. But are you going to sit in that for the rest of your life? Or you're just going to confront your own feelings of why do you need an apology? Forgiveness says, I will not let your actions define my future. So you got to forgive. You've got to forgive. It does not define your future. So you've got to forgive. You may have to forgive daily, every day, okay? Until your heart aligns with your decision. Healing begins the moment you stop waiting for closure from others and start giving it to yourself. When you start to recognize that closure comes when you stop waiting for other people to come back and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. That's not the way it was supposed to go. You've got to let that go. You have got to understand that closure is going to start when you learn that they may not ever come back and apologize or ever say that they are sorry. So as I'm answering these questions today that I have in the We Heal magazine, I am hoping that somewhere that you are hearing me, because there's so many of us that are walking around pretending that we're okay and we're really not okay. But I'm saying to you today, you may need to take some quiet time and some space for yourself to self-examine yourself. Why is it that you keep repeating and rehearsing the same thing over and over? You know, I laugh because we remember that there was this conversation about Donald Trump and our beloved President Obama. And we all have come to the conclusion that that Obama lives in Trump's head. That's the same thing that we are doing with these emotions that have come to try to distort and try to wreck our lives. Hi Nedra, how you doing today? God bless you. Hi Jamaria, how you doing today? God bless you. We've got to understand that we've got to learn to use those three words more often. Let it go. Let it go. Because when we keep holding on and we keep things living in our heads, taking up space, we can never heal because we continually give that thing more authority than it needs to have in our lives. Question number 3. Why do I keep repeating the same emotional patterns? Why do I keep repeating the same emotional patterns? Today, I am talking from my book, We Heal. We Heal. The magazine that I put out in July, and I took July off so that I can heal from some things as well. But here's what it says. Patterns reveal what has not been processed. Patterns reveal what has not been processed. You on YouTube that are watching me today, you've got to understand that you are also responsible. You are responsible like everyone else for these things that you have allowed to come into your life and have stuck around for longer than they should. So pattern reveals what have not been processed. If cycles continue, it often because the lesson has not been fully learned or the wound has not been fully addressed. We walk around wounded. We walk around wounded with things going on in our lives because we have not confronted or we have not addressed them. You've got to address these things. Unhealed pain will cost you these 3 things. Number 1, to attract what you haven't resolved. You will keep attracting the pain to the things that you have not resolved. Number 2, react instead of responding. You're going to react instead of responding. Responding means to take a moment out and make a decision what your action should be instead of just reacting. Number 3, recreate familiar dysfunction. I want you to hear this one today. We have become so dysfunctional in our emotional state and our emotional process that it has stopped us from fulfilling so many things that God has for us in our lives. He says he knows the plan, but you have to put yourself in position to be able to fulfill the plan that he knows is for you. So today, listen, healing requires awareness. When you identify the pattern, you can disrupt it. You can get ahead of it. You can get in the middle of that thing that is continually causing you to react, respond, and to lose who you are. When you disrupt it, you begin to transform it. It starts to take a new and different shape. It starts to take a new and different shape because you are then able to disrupt that negative pattern that you have allowed to become consistent in your life. Last question. How do I know that I am truly healing? Good question. How do I know that I am truly healing? Healing is not always loud. It's often quiet, consistent, and it's internal. Signs of healing includes you respond differently to what once triggered you. You know what triggers can do to you? Hearing a person's name can trigger you. A smell can trigger you. An action from a completely different person who is innocent can trigger you back into that place and that state of healing that you thought that you process. That's why we are moving from healing to wholeness, because when you become whole, you don't respond to the same triggers. You are not you are not allowing yourself to respond negatively anymore to hearing someone's name, hearing someone's a statement, seeing a certain thing. You are completely dealing with it in a different way. Here we go. Number two, you no longer need validation from those who have hurt you. That goes back to they may never apologize, which means you don't need their apology. Come on, somebody. If you're listening to me today, just put in the chat that you are hearing me, that you are listening, because we have to deal with the enemy of our enemy. What's in you, what's inside of you that's constantly rotating that enemy back and forth in your life, continually having you going backward instead of moving to the progress of being forward. Number three, your peace becomes more important than proving a point. Come on. The word of God says that revenge is his. So therefore, you don't need to have or find revenge. Your peace comes more important than proving a point. In the 30 days that I have been gone, I've written 3 chapters of my book, Peace, Peacs, Peace, instead of pieces, because I've made a conscious decision that I'm going to have peace in my life instead of falling apart and broken into pieces. And that's what happens in our lives when we don't deal with these emotions, these triggers, these things. Listen, you can evict them out of your life. I have a book that's called Evicting Emotional Enemies, because when you go and haven't paid your rent for months, or you haven't paid your car note for months, what happened? They come, they repossess it, or they evict it. And so listen, if you and then you have to pay, sometimes you have to pay so much money to get it back that you refuse to do that, you let it go. And it's the same process. You don't have to go back picking up all that old stuff. Learn how to let it go. Learn how to let it go. Number 4, you begin choosing growth over comfort. It's time to grow. It's time to plant some new seeds in your garden and let it grow. Instead of watering the same old patterns, living the same old thing over and over, it's time for you to begin choosing growth over comfort. Because when you become uncomfortable with your situation and with you and who you are, you're going to do something different. And that's what happened to me. I spent a lot of time in the gym over this past month. I spent a lot of time reading books. I even started to teach at a college as a professor, because I made a decision, like everyone says, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results. We don't want the same results in our lives. So we are going to do some things different. Before you know it, December will be here, and we will be making plans for 2027. But we have not dealt in 2026 with the root of the thing that has stopped us from progressing in 2026 and think we can just jump into 2027 and everything will change. No, you are still dealing with 2025 stuff instead of understanding that it was experiences that you had in 2025 that you should take into 2026 and correct and make different decisions so you could get different results. Come on. So as I answer these questions, I want you to know that healing is not perfection, but it is progress. And it's a process. Every step forward, no matter how small it is evidence that God is restoring you. God is a restorer. There is nothing that is too difficult for God. So when we bring all of those things from our childhood, at 70 years old, I have processed so many things from my childhood, from my past, that has given me the freedom of now living in my present, that I can go to my future instead of dwelling on my past. So I need you to understand that your emotional enemies will try to keep you living in the past. That's what they're there for. To cripple you, to stop you from progress, to stop you from moving forward, to stop you from seeing how far you've come. And they will hold on and put a grip on you to stop you. So you've got to reinvent your emotions. You have to say, this is not how I'm going to deal with anger. This is not how I'm going to let frustration take me. I am not going to become overwhelmed over the simplest things, but yet don't deny that they exist. What you have to do is deal with them. I am the heal proof doctor, Apostle Dr. Alicia George. And these are real questions that people asked and real answers that I gave, because I want you to understand that you have to, at this point in your life, turn on your GPS system. You've got to turn on your GPS system. And when you do that, number one, you're going to cancel the guilt in your life. That's the G. Canceling guilt out of your life. Turn it on. How do you cancel guilt out of your life? Number two, P. Stop trying to be a perfectionist about everything in your life. Everything has to be perfect. Just start where you are. Start over if you have to. And then the S, self-sabotage, self-esteem. So if you turn on your GPS system, you can reinvent your emotions. When you drop the guilt, anger will go away. Come on. When you turn off hurt, guilt would go away. When you understand that you don't have to be perfect in everything you say and everything that you do. I'm not perfect this afternoon, but I decided I was going to come back on here, and I was not going to sit back any longer and let the devil take away what God have given me by wallowing in what has happened. The past is your past so that you can move forward to your future with experience of your past. Self-esteem. Stop waiting for everyone to tell you about you. Know who you are. Stand in who you are. Stop self-sabotaging everything in your life. The simplest thing, one of the things that I teach in healing from emotional enemies, is we've got to learn how to allow people to give us constructive support instead of constructive criticism. When people criticize you, it hurts, but you've got to hear it differently. This person is giving you constructive support because they're seeing and hearing for you what you don't see and hear for yourself. And instead of getting angry about it or annoyed about it, listen to what they're saying and work on you. So as you start to turn on your GPS system, dealing with guilt, understanding perfectionism, on the S, learning about self-esteem and self-sabotaging, your GPS system is going to take you places that you may not think you're ready for. Because as we stay in this place of emotional trauma, as we continue piling it on top of each other day after day, and we don't turn on that GPS system and trust it to take us where it is we should go. You know, so often some of us like to try to control the GPS system. I've done it because I think I know better. I know the way that it should have taken me, and why isn't it taking me this way? So I am trying to navigate for myself when the GPS system, if I just turn it on and let it take me to where I'm supposed to go, I won't have all that trauma of trying to get there. So listen, reinvent your emotions by facing your own faults. You are not perfect. What did you do in the relationship that you should take accountability for? And I'm not talking about just marriage. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about on the job. I'm talking about existing in organizations and in your life. Good evening, Phoebe. How you doing? We've got to understand that right now in the season of our lives, that we've got to take some responsibility for why our emotions are where they are. We blame everything on everybody else instead of looking at ourselves. So you got to take a look. So when you ask me these questions and I come on and I answer, I am going to be honest with you that healing is your responsibility. It's nobody else's. But you don't have to walk it alone. When you confront it, God can heal it. That's why so many of us, because we're not open and raw with God. God, I messed up. God, I caused this situation. They may have responded to your action. And if it's the other way around, how do you respond to their action? Because emotions are truly your enemies if you don't deal with them and get it under control. And so tonight, why do I still feel broken even after praying about my pain? If you're not willing to open up your eyes and take your responsibility for it, you will end up continually being in a broken place. How do I forgive someone who never apologized? They may never apologize. They may never say, I'm sorry. But you have to forgive them because it's not about them. Forgiveness is for you. Why do I keep repeating the same emotional pattern? Because you're attracting to yourself the wrong people, the wrong things, the wrong places. How do I know that I'm truly healing? Because your responses and your actions to the same situations are going to be different. So tonight, we heal. Those were the questions and answers from my magazine, which in, I think, September, I'm going to be having the people on that have written in this magazine, and we're going to talk about why they wrote what they wrote in these magazines. Healing is a journey. It is not an overnight destination. Guess why? Because wholeness is our destination. I want you to support healing from emotional enemies, and you can do that by purchasing my book, Healing from Emotional Enemies. You can go ahead if you'd like, DM me, and you can purchase it directly from me. I have plenty of them available. Or you can just go, running it below, and hit the link below, order it, and it'll still come directly from me. Healing from Emotional Enemies was written over 12 years ago, and it has been rewritten 3 times when I went through a very bad experience in my life, in my marriage, that caused me to feel like I was suicidal and did not want to live. And so all you have to do is hit the link or go into my DM and I can send you the link and you can order the book. It's $21.99. And I think with shipping, it comes up to about $25. And I will be happy to send it out to you. Okay, so again, just go ahead and support this show by buying the book, Healing from Emotional Enemies. I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and today I am so happy to be back with you in this space, because in this space, anything and everyone, you're welcome. You don't have to be just a coach or author or writer, whatever it is that you feel that God has given you, and you may want to have a conversation with me about it. You are welcome to come in this space. We are at a place right now where we're getting ready for 2027. We're going to be doing 5 stops in California. Last year we went to different cities, but if you live in California, keep a lookout for where we're going to be. I know my first stop is in Bakersfield. We're going to be in Los Angeles. We're going to be in Fresno. We're going to be, I think, in Oceanside. So we're going to be in the Inland Empire. So Healing from Emotional Enemies is a platform that is created to help people move from just healing to a place of wholeness. So until next Friday, I want you to know, as my cousin Lorraine always says, before I get off, let me see. Hi, Jamaria. Yes, you have your book. I remember when you purchased it. Thank you so much for supporting. Don't just let it sit there. Pick it up and review it, because it always, things in the book will jump out at you. So once again, this is a new version of In the Space, and I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I enjoyed sitting with you today. You can go and hit the replay, go on YouTube and see it as well, and know that I am the heal proof doctor. I'm living proof that you can be healed. And as my cousin Lorraine always says, have a great day today and a better one tomorrow. I will see you next Friday. God bless you, and thank you so much for watching.